The gods dismissed Sekhmet's rage until she drank the blood of Apep and became unstoppable. Section 1. The birth of the Lioness Temple of Ra-Atum, Heliopolis, circa 2500 BCE. The Egyptian sky burns like a sheet of molten gold. Inside the Temple of Ra, where the light never dies, the air is heavy with incense, smoke, and divine fury. From his throne of solid gold, Ra, the sun god, blazes within his solar flame. The world below has forgotten balance. Humanity has rebelled, abandoning Ma'at, the sacred order that binds the cosmos. The chants have fallen silent, the temples stand empty, and even the Nile seems to dry with the fading reverence of mankind. Ra's anger spreads through the heavens. His radiance turns pale, his heat sharpens, his essence becomes wrath itself. From that divine exhalation, from light so fierce it devours itself, something begins to take form. It is not light, it is fire given shape. A living blaze steps forth, eyes red as the dying sun, mane blazing like forged iron, claws sinking into sand that melts beneath their touch. The myth names her Sekhmet, the lioness of the sun, the incarnation of divine vengeance. Without a word spoken, Ra's will floods through her veins. Purify the earth in the blood of the defiant, she descends to the mortal realm like a meteor. The desert quakes, fire spreads with every stride. The fertile lands of the Nile turn to ash. Humanity, once the children of Ra, become the offering for his justice. Every movement, every breath of hers carves a scar upon the earth. Trails of smoke, blood, and echoing screams. The gods watch from the ninth horizon, where light touches the void. In their eyes grows not pride, but dread. Her fury does not fade with sunset. Through the night, the glow of her eyes replaces the stars. Her fire burns without wind, feeding not on air, but on the souls of the condemned. When dawn comes, the light over the river is no longer gold. It is crimson. The Nile, once the artery of life, flows red as drying clay. Above, in the realm of the gods, silence reigns. No laughter, no argument, only awe and unease. The weapon of Ra has broken from the hand that forged it. Across the dunes, the wind carries the sound of a lion's roar. Yet hidden within that roar is another voice, deeper and older, rising from the world's first shadow. Something ancient is stirring beneath the desert. Something that remembers the time before Ma'at, when only chaos ruled, waiting now for a goddess fierce enough to awaken it. Section 2. The serpent beneath the horizon. The Duat, realm of night beneath the sun's eternal passage. When the sun sets, Ra's solar bark drifts into the underworld. The air thickens with venom and silence. This is the Duat, the river of eternity, where each night the gods sail through darkness, guarding creation against the serpent that hungers to devour it. Apep, the embodiment of chaos. But this night is not like the others. The waters ripple uneasily. The gods who row the bark feel the current turn strange beneath them. Somewhere in the distance, faint at first, then near, another rhythm beats, fierce and alive. Something with a heartbeat follows them. The light of Ra's crown dims as shadows curl along the horizon. From the far edge of the Duat, a figure emerges. Mane blazing gold, paws striking sparks against the river's surface. Sekhmet runs alongside the divine ship, her eyes burning with crimson flame. Blood stains her mouth, and even in the land of the dead, that blood glows like molten rubies. She has crossed the threshold no mortal or god should dare. She hunts even here. Beneath the surface, the serpent stirs. Apep, the endless coil, unspools from the blackness. His scales glimmer with galaxies unborn. His breath is the sigh of collapsing stars. His movement shakes the bark, and the waters boil as his head rises from the abyss. He senses something new, something fierce, divine, yet wild. The lioness is not part of Ra's light, nor of the darkness he commands. She is a spark torn between them. The river divides, flame clashes with shadow. For a moment, the entire underworld shudders, as if creation itself has inhaled and forgotten how to breathe. When Sekhmet leaps, her claws strike the surface of the river, and send waves of fire into the sky. The serpent lunges, jaws vast enough to swallow mountains, his roar echoing through both the Duat and the world above. They collide, flame against void. Every blow tears rifts through the night. The stars tremble. The mortals above see the reflection in their dreams, a lioness of light locked in battle with a serpent made of eternity. No god dares intervene. Even Ra, radiant upon his throne of light, feels the bark tilt under the weight of their fury. The gods of order, of wisdom, of air, all stare in frozen awe. The underworld fills with the scent of burning chaos. Sekhmet's claws rip through Apep's scales. His black blood spills like smoke. Yet from every wound, more serpents are born, twisting and hissing, biting into her flesh. The venom burns through her, searing her divine veins, and she drinks it in. The fire within her deepens. No longer pure, no longer divine gold. Her light turns scarlet, fire touched by the abyss. The serpent recoils. The goddess does not. She drives her claws into his throat and tears open a wound that bleeds darkness. The ichor flows around her, thick and endless. She tilts her head back and drinks. The Duat falls silent. The serpent stills. Above, the bark of Ra drifts untouched, while the gods stare into the glow below. A lioness standing amid a storm of red fire, her mane and shadow intertwined. The blood of Apep flows through her now. The hunger of chaos merges with the fury of the sun, and for the first time in eternity, Apep retreats. The serpent of the void, the deathless, flees into the abyss from which he came. In the stillness that follows, the goddess stands alone. Her eyes burn like eclipsed suns. She has devoured chaos, and chaos has devoured her in return. The Duat quivers, the heavens tremble, and Ra, seeing what has been born in the dark, feels something the sun has never known before. The chill of fear. Section 3. The night the sun stopped. Thebes, the 8th hour of the unending night. The mortal world lies in stillness. The priests awaken to find their fires dead, their lamps without flame. The Nile stands unmoving, a mirror of black glass. The dawn refuses to come. Overhead, the sky convulses, neither day nor night, but an endless dusk smeared in red. The stars twist into strange constellations, curling like the scales of a serpent. And from the desert's heart, something rises, tall, radiant, terrible. The lioness steps into the world once more. Sekhmet has returned, but not as she was. Her mane burns darker now, her veins pulsing with light and shadow intertwined. Around her, the air bends as if the desert itself bows in reverence or fear. Every step leaves molten sand behind. The ground smokes beneath her paws. The river hisses as she crosses it, boiling into mist. Above, Ra's sun struggles to climb the horizon, a weak ember flickering in the vault of heaven. Yet the lioness's power eclipses it. Her radiance devours the sunlight itself. The world sinks beneath her glow, half flame, half void. And then the unthinkable happens. The solar disk halts. For the first time since creation, the sun no longer moves. The bark of Ra drifts in paralysis above the mortal sky. The gods stare downward, silent and trembling. The very laws of Ma'at falter, suspended in that single heartbeat of dread. Below, the mortals kneel in terror. The Nile's reflection burns crimson. The temples crack from within as statues weep grains of sand. The scent of iron and dust fills the air, the scent of creation bleeding. The lioness stands upon a ridge overlooking all Egypt. Her gaze pierces the distance, past the cities, past the pyramids, past the horizon itself. The wind twists around her in spirals, carrying whispers from two worlds. The venom of Apep hums inside her, coiling around the divine flame she once bore. The two forces wage war within her, order and chaos, light and shadow, until their struggle becomes indistinguishable from her own heartbeat. She tilts her head to the horizon, and the world darkens further. Clouds form where none should be. Lightning flashes scarlet across the sky, but makes no sound. Every living being feels the tremor. The animals cease their cries. The waters fall silent. The wind holds its breath. The lioness lifts her head. Her mane erupts in a pillar of fire that reaches the heavens. The sky itself tears open. The light of Ra is swallowed. The sun vanishes behind a wave of red brilliance. For 3 days and nights, the world hangs beneath that false dawn. No boundary between light and dark remains. And yet within the stillness, there is no triumph, only hunger. The goddess stands motionless, her shadow stretching from one end of the desert to the other. She has drunk from chaos and found that the taste never fades. In the silence that follows, the mortal world learns fear anew. The priests carve new prayers upon temple walls. Prayers not to beg forgiveness, but to survive the gaze of the lioness. High in the heavens, the gods gather once more. None speak her name aloud. None dare descend. And Ra, radiant no longer, watches from his dimmed bark, knowing that the weapon he once forged has become something neither god nor monster, but the first of a new kind of being, a force that even the sun must hide from. The world waits, trembling beneath a sky that no longer turns. The lioness has devoured the sun. Section 4, The Tears of Hathor. Valley of the Kings. Beneath the shadow of a sun that will not rise. Days pass. The world hangs between breaths. Crops decay beneath the red glow. The Nile lies still and sour, its waters heavy as molten copper. No wind moves the reeds. No bird dares to fly. The priests keep vigil in the temples of Thebes, their faces streaked with ash. They chant into a sky, deaf to their words. They burn the last of their oils, but no flame will take. Only the faintest shimmer of heat remains, the echo of a fire that has already burned too long. Then, without warning, the air shifts. A scent moves through the dark. Milk, honey, myrrh. The blackness folds open, and a soft light spills forth, pale gold against the blood-red sky. Out of that radiance steps Hathor, goddess of love and renewal, once twin to the lioness, now raging across creation. She is gentle light against Sekhmet's stormfire, the memory of warmth that follows wrath. Where her feet touch the ground, flowers try to bloom and wither in the same instant. Her eyes lift toward the heavens, where the sun once turned, and she sees herself reflected there, a distorted echo of her own face made monstrous by vengeance. The world holds still as Hathor crosses the wasted sands. Her radiance does not fight the darkness. It seeps into it, like water into parched stone. Around her the air cools. Somewhere in the distance the lioness moves, a silhouette wreathed in crimson flame, her mane a storm of black light. She halts. The desert trembles. Between them stretches the breath of eternity. One goddess born to destroy, the other to restore. Hathor carries a small vessel in her hands, a jar of red liquid, thick as wine. It gleams faintly under the dying sky. Mortals once brewed it from pomegranate and lotus, blending sweetness and bitterness into a single prayer. It was made for her sister long ago, when Ra still smiled upon the world. She raises it high. The wind changes. Across the dunes, the lioness pauses. The glow around her falters, her body shuddering under the weight of the serpent's venom and the god's flame twined inside her blood. The two forces fight, tearing her apart from within. The ground splits under her claws. A single drop of the red liquid falls from Hathor's jar onto the sand, and the sand drinks it. A thin stem rises, trembling, and from it opens a blue lotus, the first bloom since the eclipse began. The scent reaches Sekhmet. Her eyes flicker. For the first time since her birth, her breath slows. The fury in her veins hesitates. The blood of Apep coils tighter, uncertain. The silence between them hums with something older than wrath. Recognition. Two halves of the same creation, split by the will of a god. Hathor walks forward through the scorched earth. Around her, shadows dissolve like mist. The jar tilts, spilling its red light across the sand. Wherever it flows, the desert softens, breathing again. And in that moment, the lioness lowers her head. The darkness within her wavers, unable to consume the memory of what it once was. Warmth, joy, devotion. The chaos inside her cries out but finds no voice. Her eyes, once burning crimson, now glint amber, the color of sunset upon the Nile. The venom fades, the fire cools. In the heavens, the bark of Ra shudders back to motion. The disk of the sun flickers, gathering strength. A streak of light breaks across the horizon, hesitant but alive. The first sunrise after eternity. Hathor watches as Sekhmet kneels in silence. No word passes between them. None is needed. One embodies the wound, the other the healing. Both necessary, both eternal. When the sun finally rises, its edge gleams faint red, the mark of blood long spilled and of balance painfully restored. Beneath the river, deep in the hidden coils of the sleeping serpent, a ripple stirs. The faint whisper of Apep moves through the currents. The lioness drank my blood, and my shadow sleeps within her still. The Nile flows clear once more. Yet in every dawn that follows, its reflection burns slightly red. Not with anger, but with remembrance.